Hi, I'm Farah.
And I'm Lucille.
And this is
According to us.
Farah and Lucille, According to Us, are proud to release a brand new episode.
Hey friend, how are you doing?
I'm good, and you?
I'm good. I didn't think we were going to be here again. Lockdown season 2, episode 1.
Yeah. And our next episode during lockdown season 2, but I guess it's necessary. It's for the greater good of flattening the curve. So here we are. So what have you been up to?
I have, trying to work. I'm sure you're doing the same thing. You know, our businesses are small businesses, so we're trying to just keep going right now. But yeah. Oh, how's the eating going? Last time you were complaining about eating.
Listen, this week I'm on a roll. I lost 2 kgs. Right? It was hard though. It was so hard. I literally had to fast for it's like 7 days just to lose the 2 kgs. But I'm now starting to focus on losing the weight because in lockdown season 1, I literally gained 4 kgs.
Wow.
Yep.
I lost 4 kgs in season 1. By now, season 2, I'm now on 7 kgs that I've lost. I'm very proud of myself.
Oh no, can I swear at you?
I'm
Like
so
how the
excited.
hell?
I've been trying on clothes that I haven't been able to fit into. I am so excited.
Stuff you that no way is like how I'm struggling right now. But then also then again I'm baking every day. Yesterday I baked a banana bread. I'm cooking every day. But I did well. I only had like 1 slice of the banana bread where normally I would literally eat the half by myself. So there's progress.
Okay, so you're sticking to the quarantine menu of fat cake and banana bread.
Yes. I listen here. I need to join everybody and be the masters of banana bread and fat cake. The whole world, I must join them. I must be within.
No, I mean I've been trying to finish my book and stuff, but it's so weird, I've been trying to finish my book and it's been weird, I guess, because I've had to reflect so much over the last few years of things I've done and how my life has panned out and stuff that I've been doing. And it's crazy because, I was having a conversation with someone and I was telling them this and they were like, so what do you regret? And I was like, I don't regret anything, but I probably would have done some stuff differently. And it made me think what would you change if you could change anything, friend? Like if you could, looking back now, just because I've had so much time to sit and think and go over so many things in my life, I've just been thinking about things like, what would I change? Like, what would you change?
Jeez, this time really has been a lot about reflection and just thinking. And, I've been also having a lot of insomnia in this time. I don't know what it is, but I've been struggling to sleep between the times of 12 and 4 a.m. So there's been a lot of thinking. So this is actually, it's actually quite relevant. I've been thinking about a lot of things and it's reflecting on a lot, and it's more also thinking, it's not so much of the regret, but when I think I'm trying to break it down, and also it's helping me to plan the year ahead, to break it down and reflecting on all the things. One of the things I can start with though, in saying is that, I was thinking about life and marriage, and I was asking myself, okay, if I had to look back on what I know now about marriage and about life, would I have gotten married at the age of 22? Not so sure. I don't think I would actually. I think I would have done a whole lot more with my life before becoming somebody's wife. So yeah, I mean, you also got married at a young age. Would knowing what you know now about life and marriage, would you have gotten married at a young age?
I don't think I would have gotten married at 25, but I think I would have still had Layla, but I don't know if I'd want to get married necessarily. And I say that because when I look back now, I think I had no idea what marriage was, and I had no idea what a committed relationship was in the sense of marriage and what came with all of that. Like, it's not as easy as I guess people think it is. And also, I don't know if I was mature enough to get married at 25. Being a mom at 26, I think I may have still done that because I've really enjoyed kind of growing up with my child and now that she's older and I'm not 65 or 70, you know, and she's 15, I think I've enjoyed, you know, seeing that part of her life. Marriage, though, I don't know if I was. Do you think you were mature enough when you got married?
You know what? Marriage one, definitely not. I feel like I needed to know myself more, because also a lot of the reasons why my marriage failed, and I won't say failed, but yeah, it ended because I felt like we got together when I was 18. We got married when I was 22. We were together for too long. We didn't know each other, ourselves well enough. We hadn't developed ourselves well enough to decide that we want to be each other's forever, But yes, you're right. I look around now and I see a lot of women my age, trying to make babies, or they done it late in their lives, and they are really struggling to adapt to being newborn mothers, or trying to become pregnant, finding that life partner, because now times have changed so hectically. And I am grateful, that I always say this, I am so grateful that I'm getting to grow up and have fun. I mean, a lot of the times when I'm at school, events and things with my kids, I'm always the youngest parent, but I am grateful that I'm able to run this journey with them. I'm able to enjoy life with them. I can understand things that they're talking about. I can be part of things that they're doing. I'm there. I'm ready. I understand. And their foolery and their tricks that they try to, pull on me, I'm not too far behind, because I understand, I'm young enough to understand the lingo, the tricks, the things that excite them, the things that they love, So I'm really grateful for the fact that I had my kids young. I'm done. I'm under 40 and I'm done. Not doing this again. I can focus on my career. I can focus on other things. There's no ways I'm changing nappies at this age. Yeah. No, so I mean, it has been, and I just, what is the one thing that you can say that, that you did it and you wouldn't change it?
I think one thing I've been very grateful for, that I was actually thinking about while I was writing, was, I started my business at 29. I wish I'd started it earlier. That is one thing I wish I'd started earlier. I don't regret starting it at 29. I think I was in the right place in terms of experience and everything at 29. However, I think I could have gotten that experience before. And I really, not wish, but maybe if I look back, maybe instead of getting married at 25, I wish I started my business at 25. I wish I'd been a little bit more financially stable in my 20s rather than going into my 30s, if you know what I mean. I just feel like it gave me more options. Because I think as a woman, when you're more financially stable, the younger you are, you have more options, not just in terms of business or anything else, but even just your life partner. I think it gives you, because a lot of the times, I mean, for me, I see a lot of people get married because for them it's a business. For them it's love, but it's also, how stable am I? How financially stable am I? Can this person take care of me? And I think a lot of time women, unfortunately, because of the circumstances that they come from, they get married because of that. So they look for the financially stable option, I guess. So for me, I guess I wish maybe I'd maybe made money a bit more in my 20s. And being a little bit more stable in terms of that, and not just in terms of men, but just in terms of life generally. Traveling, I would have been able to travel more in my 20s. I would have been able to see the world a lot more. I had to wait so much later in my life to do all these things, and I wish I'd had that money then, and then I would have been able to show Layla more of the world then. So I don't regret traveling later. I mean, I did travel in my 20s, just not as much as I do now. So I guess from a financial point of view, I wish I'd started my business just a little bit earlier.
Yeah, I also think, I feel like if I was more financially clued up and more, made wiser decisions in my 20s as well, I would have been a lot further in my life now. I feel that I woke up to a lot of there was too much recklessness in my 20s. And, I see a lot of people actually now in their 20s that are actually, starting their businesses, being more smart. But I guess the education and how people are being taught about financial literacy and things have changed. There's a lot more accessibility to information. People are a little bit more smarter. But that's one of the things that I do feel, had I started the journey, had I made smarter choices, was wiser in my early 20s, I would have been a lot further in my life right now, but besides that, wait, so tell me, when did you break your virginity?
Way too young. I wish I had waited a little bit longer to actually have sex, just because for me, I had sex out of curiosity, not because I was in love with a person, not because I really liked them. I wasn't even dating the person. It was really curiosity. And I come, like my parents, they would talk about a lot of things, but, sex was also very limited in terms of the discussion. So I really wish that I'd had more understanding. I learned a lot of what I learned about sex was on the playground. And I that's why I don't like Layla to have.
What do you mean the playground?
Because you went to school and you talked about sex, or you talked about kissing.
I thought you meant that you had sex on the playground when you broke your virginity.
And like when you're talking with your friends when you're in high school and you guys are talking about kissing or how far you went or things like that. And for me, I really wish I'd waited just a little bit more to understand my body, for one, and also just to understand what I might enjoy. I wish I'd explored my body more. I wish in terms of masturbation I'd spent more time doing that to understand, instead of waiting till I was a little bit older in my 20s to really understand who I was from a female point of view. That was a bit, I think for me, I just wish I'd learned a little bit more about who I was as a person before I started having sex.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that, because I feel like I wasted my vagina on a lot of people unnecessarily, because now I know what I want, now I know what I need, now I know who doesn't do it, and I just felt like I need to go back and claim back something from each of those people. Yeah.
I get you, and I get that, and I think like as women, like we just, especially young girls, like I also feel like sometimes we feel like, like we think we're in love, so we feel like the boy is not forcing us, but rather, like if you don't, then someone else will, and at that time you don't really understand what love truly is, or you do understand what love is, but you don't understand what sex is. And I think because I didn't understand sex so well, I really wish I just waited a little bit longer. Like you say, I also feel like sometimes I still feel like I waste my vagina on people. I told you that last time.
Yeah, we keep going back to this bad sex that you had, hey? We keep going back there.
I know. It's because, like I really feel, and I say this wholeheartedly, like I honestly feel like I've been really good, like since I've understood my body, since I've understood sex, I feel like I've made really good decisions. Somehow I've been really lucky to have really great sex with most people that I've ever had sex with. I think because he's like the worst sex I've ever had. He's like my level point of understanding.
Listen, I honestly believe that by the time we maybe get to episode 10, our audiences need to know who the person is that you had this bad sex with. Hello, we've mentioned it so often. Like, we need to mention who this person is now. Like, I'm sure everybody's wondering. I know, I know who the person is, but yeah. But yeah, there's,
so maybe that's a good thing.
Yeah, that's a good thing. That's the good thing. When you're talking about this whole thing of, the information that we were privy to back then about sex and the things that we were told, the birds and the bees from our parents and so forth. Yeah. We've got teenage kids right now. So in what we know now, how would you do it differently in telling Layla about sex? Because I listen, I've had to have that conversation, and I literally was like, Dad, please have the conversation because I don't know where to even begin.
Like, I don't know. It's weird because I want her to have that conversation with me when she's ready, and I don't want her to think that sex is something bad either. But I'd rather she came to tell me and we have conversations about, okay, if this is really what you want to do, then let's talk about contraception, because I don't want her to come home at 16, 18, or even 21 and come tell me, okay, I'm pregnant, because I don't want her to miss out on certain things in her life. I don't want her to miss out on her teenage years. I don't want her to miss out on those things. But I'm never going to tell her not to have sex. I think it freaks me out and it scares me, the thought of her having sex, because she's always going to be my baby, and you know, like, that's always going to be my little girl. And I think just the thought of a boy wanting to even have sex with her freaks me out. But I know that she will make the decision about when she wants to have sex by herself, because I feel like, I hope that I've taught her enough about who she is to make the right decision. The only thing I want to be able to do is make sure that she takes precautions, but I don't want to stop her, because I also feel like, don't you think, like, when we were young, the more we told our parents what we wanted to do, the more they wanted to stop us. So
Yeah, no, that's true.
I don't want her to sit one day and have this conversation about, oh my God, I wish I'd waited, kind of thing.
Yeah, I wish that my mom was a different parent.
I can't even imagine trying to tell boys about sex. I don't know how you
Dude.
have that conversation.
Dude, like, I'm literally like struggling. Like, everything that happens where there's been some incidents where we like not sure now, was this a sexual related incident? What was happening? Having sex? Like, literally, I get on the phone with Edison and I'm like, babe, this is what happened. How do I handle this? Or I'll send a message, Dad, please. Or help have.
I think, when Layla was 8, we started talking about periods. And I'll never forget the conversation. It was something I just kind of started off, and over the years we just kept having that conversation, a little bit here, a little bit there. And then I think when she was 9 or 10, I started showing her how to put pads on, even though she didn't have a period yet, just so she could like understand, what the process would be and how to do it. So when she got her period, she just came to me one day with a smile on her face. Mommy, I got my period. And she was like happy. She wasn't sad. She wasn't confused. And I said to her, oh, okay, let's go put the pad on. She's like, no, I know how to do it. So just things like that, really help. But it's a gradual conversation that I find that I've had to have continuously. But just going back to like things that we wish, I wish my mom had that conversation with me, because when I was 11, I got my period and I was so freaked out because my mom didn't have that conversation with me. And when I did get my period, I was so freaked out that for 2 days I didn't tell my mom I had my period, because I was like, oh my God, let it go away.
So how were you cleaning yourself, or what were you doing? How were you hiding that you had your period?
Showering every 5 minutes, because I was like hoping it would go away, and washing my panties, because I didn't understand, Lou. I was 11 years old. My parents didn't really have that conversation. So when I did tell my mom walked into the bathroom. Like, I called her and I was like, I have to tell her now because it's just not going away. And I called her and she walked into the bathroom and she looked at me and she closed the door and she said nothing. And she called my dad. And my dad came and my dad gave me the pad and he brought a panty and he showed me how to do it. And then when I was done, he took me inside and he was like, okay, this is what your periods are. This is when you're going to get them. This is why they come. Like, my dad did all of that. And even my first bra, my mom, she was so freaked out by it. Like, I don't know if she was freaked out or she didn't know how to have that conversation. Just, I guess, from their culture and where they come from. So for me, I remember my dad taking me to get my first bra and to be measured and everything. My dad explained to me how to be the woman in that sense. And he had three
Dad.
I guess he did that with all of us. So for me, it was a different experience. But I I was a little bit uncomfortable because I always imagined that it would be my mom. So I guess I wish for me, that's why I always say, you know, I like to have these conversations with Layla, and I don't want her to be scared of sex, but I do want her to be very sure about who she has sex with.
Okay, yeah, no, it's a tricky one, and I guess, and you know, because there's no manual to life, there's no manual to living, you know, it's as you go, you start to reflect, and you start to, you know, have some regrets, because you will, it's natural, you know. And one of the things I was also reflecting on is, you know, the friends we have, the relationships we have with people, you know. So there's sometimes when you will now get to a point where you know so much about a person, even though you've, you know, been in a friendship or relationship with them for a long time. I can honestly sit here and say there's some relationships that I've been in for, like, you know, 15, 20 years, thinking that it's a relationship that actually it was not beneficial to me. And that's what I'd do differently in my life. I would not spend I think, even more than a year in a relationship, friendship, business ship, whatever ship, with anyone, when I'm able to identify that this person is not for me based on the characteristics and the things that I look for in relationships with people. Honestly, there's a lot of people that I don't. Now I can easily walk away from bullshit. Like, I can,
If you look back at that, like, what has made you be that person, especially in your friendships? Like, what was the turning point where you said, actually, I'm not going to do this with friendships anymore?
Because it's just friendships, especially for me, when it's a one-sided thing where I don't see any mutual benefication from this relationship, then for me it's an absolute waste of time. There must be, whether it may not be the same thing that I'm benefiting, that they benefiting, but I must be benefiting something from the relationship. If I'm not benefiting anything from it, whether it just be somebody who just makes me feel good about myself, or, you know, whatever, or somebody that I can rely on if I need a shoulder to cry on, I need financial support, or I need something, and then for me that it's a waste of time, absolute waste of time. So now I run. I just shut down. I don't. And I used to be the person of hogger on to relationships, because you want to be the nice person. You don't want to be mean, or, you know, you just want to be a people pleaser and that kind of thing. But, you know, what I know now tells me I don't need to do that. Don't.
But if you look back now in the last 36 years of your life, what is the one thing that you'd say, I really wish I'd done that differently? Like, if you could pick one thing, what would you have done completely differently?
Jeez, it has to be trying to choose between the marriage and the virginity, because those do rank quite high. I think, yeah, I'd say the marriage one. I honestly feel like I wouldn't have if I had to look back on what I know now, even though, yes, at this age, I wouldn't have gotten married at the age of 22. Nor would I have gotten married to the person I got married to, but okay.
Really? What makes you...
No, because now I know the type of man I would want to spend the rest of my life with. I know who I am to be in a relationship. You know, I know the person that I would be most compatible with. I'm not saying that person is, no. I'm definitely not saying that the person I was married to is a bad person, great person, good person. But, you know, he's not the type of person I would have wanted to spend my forever with. You know, if I look at the characteristics and the type of person that I now have, you know, formed in my mind, that this is the type of person I want to have my forever with. No, it wouldn't have. He would never have made the cut.
I think for me, it would be between the marriage and having moved back to South Africa. Because we left South Africa when I was 10 years old. We moved to Belgium, and then we lived there till I was 13. And then at 13, we moved to Manchester in the UK, and I mean, I lived there till I came back here when I was 25. I came back. I don't know. I mean, I think maybe I would have come back earlier.
Earlier. Why?
If I look back, I think just because looking back now, when I came back to South Africa, there were so many things that the country didn't have at the time, and I wish that I had maybe come back and implemented a lot of things.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And a lot more. But I guess the marriage thing, I don't regret who I married. I just think that, and I say that purely because, again, like you say, he's not a bad person. I just, maybe it would have worked if we were a lot older. Maybe because I was 25, he was 27. We were kids. I mean, looking back now, we were way too young for that shit. Like we should.
So in essence, you're saying if he had to ask you to marry him now, you'd marry him?
No. I still want my baby girl. I just don't want him. He's not a bad.
Oh, okay. Excuse me. Sorry.
He's not a bad person. It's just that I guess I would do it differently. I think we would go for marriage counseling first. That's definitely something I would have done, which I regret not doing the first time, just to see from a compatibility point of view. I think also I understand marriage differently now, and therefore because I understand it differently, I look at marriage differently, and like now, I wouldn't mind getting married again, but purely because I understand what in marriage entails now. I really do.
That's actually me too.
Say that again, friend.
No, I was saying that's actually me too. I would do it again because I understand it better now.
I definitely. I don't know. I'd be a little bit more cautious in terms of the relationship side of things. I think I only learned more about relationships going into my 30s. I understood, what I wanted from a man, what I expected from a man, what I needed from a man. But also, just like I said, even just with family, I think what I would change is having maybe better relationships with my family, because for a long time, my family has always been everything to me, and nothing has ever changed in that respect. But I guess as you grow older, family becomes a lot more important to you, is what I realize, not just from me, but from other people too. And when we're younger, we don't tend to think so much about our families or take them into consideration, or, with decisions that we make in life. I think I'd be a little bit more, I think I'd involve my family in a lot more, because I consider their feelings a lot more now, and I definitely value their opinions much more now. But that's because I realize the value of family now.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, we realize the value of a whole lot of things, including family. Do you know what? This might seem like a stupid, but one of the things that I think I would do differently, really, is the amount of alcohol I used to drink.
Really? As long as I've known you, I've never seen you like that. I've never seen you like a drinker. Like, you're not like a drinker.
I think in my 30s I became early 20s, maybe, no. But in my 30s, and even this year, I think I probably would have, I think at most had alcohol maybe twice in this year so far, if not less. But I just appreciate life differently and understand that there really is there's no, like, I just understand that I can go without it. I can do better. And it's just, I feel like I wasted a lot of my time running from Capital to Moloko to Stage to, what are all these clubs, the ones in Braamfontein, and no, I wasted a lot of my time doing a lot of that. But you know what? It all though, was part of life, was part of my 20s. But if I had to do anything differently, you know, since that is pretty much what
Did you have fun?
Yeah, but I also, it made me make really bad decisions. And yeah, I guess the bad decisions, I guess, but I think, I'm not saying not have done it totally, but that.
Okay, I guess one other thing, I guess do you know the one thing, I guess, for me that would make, not necessarily that I would change, I just wish I had done it earlier. I was so horrible to other women. I really had to learn to be a better person to women. I didn't understand the value of woman empowerment, and I was very much a cheerleader for misogyny and for...
So you were a bitch.
Men. I really was a bitch. I really was, and it was... And honestly, it was, and it took me so long to realize that the person that I was, and I look back now and I'm just like, I wish I'd understood the value of me as a woman a lot earlier in my life, in my teens already. I wish I'd understood the value of supporting other women and being a cheerleader for other women. It took me so long in my life to understand the mistakes I made in that sense, that I think that's why that's why I push for women empowerment so hard now, and why I push so much for women now, and why I'm first in line to make sure women succeed now, because I realized that I spent so long living in a world where I didn't appreciate being a woman myself. And now I look back and I'm like, I messed up. I can change it now. I just wish I'd learned the value of me a lot earlier. And now I think, you know, it's not necessarily about us regretting anything. I think me, especially just like writing about, especially the last 12 years of my life with the business, it's just made me think about so many things that I would have either accomplished at another time or done differently. But I'll never sit here and say I regret anything, because I don't think I'd be the person I am today if I regretted anything, because I really would just sit and wallow in the regret the whole time. And I think that's a problem that a lot of us have. Instead of appreciating the journey that we've taken and had to make to get to this point in our lives, a lot of people, they regret it, and therefore they're like, I want to do it differently. I wish I'd done it differently. But I don't think people realize that time is the one commodity that you cannot buy and you cannot get back and you cannot seek again. Once it's gone, it's gone. And, you know, like, I always say, you know, first impressions are like your virginity. Once it's gone, it's gone. So if you make a bad first impression, you're never going to get it back. But regret is the same thing. You can't sit there and regret something, because you're going to spend your whole life regretting. So I think, you know, it's so nice to have this conversation with you about, you know, maybe things that we would have changed. But I don't ever want us, or I hope that we don't ever regret anything.
Yeah, no, that's true. We live and we learn. And through reflecting, which we've been doing.
Lockdown has allowed many of us to do. We've had to reflect on so many things, and actually, you know, in some of the things where I reflected on is things that I never, before I reflected, learned the lessons that it actually was meant to teach me. And now, from the reflection period, I've kind of actually seen what the lessons are that I was supposed to learn from those past experiences in some cases. Some hit you immediately and others, well, delayed reaction. And here comes the delayed reaction. But yeah, we live and we learn.
Let's hope that the next time we're doing this sitting next to each other. But I enjoyed this conversation. I just wanted to have this conversation with you, because I really don't want us, you know, to ever just sit there and be like, oh, I wish I'd done it differently. But it's so nice to know that I'm not the only person that sometimes just goes into a daydream about, hey, I could have done this differently.
Yo, we've been on a
daydream or day. What are we on now? I don't know, but yeah.
on day, I don't know, to the point where, can you see, I even cut my own hair.
Oh yes, I saw on your Instagram that you cut your hair. And what did Layla say about your hair? You look like what? A military. You said something.
I cut it was all black because I cut all the blonde out originally because it was so long. And when I walked inside to go and show her, she said I looked like a military brat.
That is so mean.
And I look better.
I can see these, my two brats here, like, the mockery that I've been having over my hair. Today, actually, the first time I've had a wig in a very long time. Actually, even Jasmine said to me yesterday, she's like, please, can you do about your hair? Like this thing, this afro that you are rocking for lockdown, it's not the one. But I feel it's lockdown. Just let me be.
My nails are not getting any better. Like, I don't even know what to do with them. I don't have acetone and they're growing out so long. I give up.
Friend, at least we're all in it together, so nobody's here to judge anyone. We're all here to look like ugly ducklings, and it's heights. Cool, love you too. Next time. Cheers.
Farah and Lucille, according to us.